He's a tradesman with a real use for knives. His presentation, his taste in knives, and his testing had me hooked.
Duty's Daggers.
Duty's Daggers, okay.
Doodly Danglers.
Okay. Oh yeah, okay, this is legit.
Alright, welcome back to Duty's Daggers. We're doing a Shirogorov review today. This is the Shirogorov Ursus Q95. And I just bought it recently. They just came out. This is a brand new knife from Shirogorov in the Ursus line. The Ursus line is this family of Shirogorov knives, and they've typically been titanium frame locks. This is the first time it's been a liner lock in micarta. And because of that, they're really well priced. They're like $660, which I know it's a lot of money, but for a Shirogorov, that's not that much money. Usually they're in like the $8,000 to $1,000 range. So this is a couple $100 cheaper. And I really like it. I just did the cut test video on it. So if you want to see this thing in action, you can go watch that. But to save you some time, or if you don't want to watch it, I'll just tell you it cut really, really nicely. It sliced really well. Did really crazy good utility cutting. And just all around was really good. So we're going to review this thing. Now, first of all, excuse me, there's a new intro to the channel, to the videos. Let me know if you guys like it or not. I'm not quite sure if I like it or not myself. I might change some things, take out some of the audio, the talking. I'm not sure I like all that, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think I might shorten it. I think it might be a little long. I know for me, if I'm starting a video and the content creator has an intro, I typically skip past it, unless it's really short. And I think most people probably do the same. So it's cool, like the first couple times you see it, and then you're like, all right, I've already seen this intro, I don't care. Let's just get to the video. And I totally get that because I do it too. So I think maybe making it like 2 seconds long or something, like 3 seconds long maybe. So anyways, I just want to get your guys' feedback on it. So let us measure the knife. It's pretty big. 3 3/4 inch on the blade, and a 5-inch handle. So that means we got 8 3/4 inch overall. It's big. And I typically don't love huge knives. I do have a couple that I really like. One is the 8020 Demco, and it's right around the same size, maybe slightly longer. The Shirogorov is slightly longer. The XM18 is a fairly big knife, but it's definitely smaller than the Shirogorov. What else? The Umnimzan. That's another big knife I really like, and it is a little bit shorter than the Shirogorov, maybe a 1/4 inch shorter. And that's kind of it. That's kind of the only huge knives, and they're not even huge, but for me they're huge because I typically carry like a 3-inch blade around there. That's kind of my sweet spot for most things. So it honestly feels kind of weird using a knife this big. I think I could do with it being shrunken down a little bit. And that's just a nitpick. I think it's slightly big for me, for my preference. I think I'd like it a little shorter, and I know there's other Shirogorovs that are a little bit smaller, and I think for my next one I'd probably go with something like that. And I have one more nitpick too, but we'll get to that later on. First I want to talk about some really good things about the knife. This is my first experience with a Shirogorov, and I'm pretty impressed with their fit and finish and their machining. You know, they've always been known for making really good knives, and now I can kind of see what all the hype is about. The level of detail on this thing is really cool, and the fit and finish is really good. I wouldn't say it's the smoothest thing. Now, it is very drop shut. So I'm not talking about drop shut. I'm talking about smoothness. You can hear that detent ball rubbing on the tang of the blade. I'll put it right next to the microphone. And that could go away with use. Typically what that is like the finish where the detent ball rubs on the tang. that where that rubs, there's maybe some type of stone wash on there or something that's creating a not totally smooth surface. If we're looking at like the smoothest knife I own is my Rask, right? And that is just completely silent. Like it feels like that detent ball is just riding on oiled glass. This does not feel like that. Feel like, and it's not in the pivot. It's more like what the detent ball is rubbing on, and that could break in too. But it is extremely fall shut, and that's probably due to their multi-row bearing system. You can see it right there on the inside of the scale. It says MRBS. I don't know if you'll be able to see. But they have a multi-row bearing system in here, which makes it, really drop really nicely. And that's nice. That's definitely nice. Well, as long as we're talking about nitpicks, let's just get them all out of the way. So yeah, the size I think is a little bit big for me. The knot smoothness, opening and closing, and then the final one would be the scales are a little chunky. These liners are very thick. The micarta is not that thick. It's mostly, I think, the liners that are pretty thick, but it makes this handle pretty chunky. And that's a good thing for ergonomics because it feels very good in your hand. More, substantial in your grip, but just looks-wise, it just looks a little bit big, a little wide this way. And that's a nitpick, obviously. It doesn't matter, to the knife as far as how the knife functions, but just a looks thing, it's a little bit chunky. And their frame locks are not this way because there's no liner and micarta. It's just the titanium scale. So those are my little nitpicks out of the way. Let's get to the other stuff. So the blade is I don't even know if I guess you'd call it a drop point, but the tip is not really dropped down. It's it looks like it drops down to about here, and then it's just straight. There's no drop to the tip. Sorry. It's kind of straight to about here where the swedge ends, and then you can see it kind of like straightens out. Compared to the other Ursus knives, I like this better though, because on the other Ursus knives, I think the tip goes actually up a little bit. It's a slight trailing point on those, and this one's not. And oh boy, this is so good at utility cutting. Watch that cut test, you'll see. I'm cutting cardboard like this, down on like a cutting board deal, and I would cut the cardboard and it wouldn't even move. Like typically you do the utility cut and the piece that you cut away would kind of like, I don't know, slide over, or sometimes it kind of flings up. You move the knife through the cardboard and it just stays exactly where it was. It almost like seems like you didn't cut it, but then you move the piece away and it was completely cut very cleanly through. It's kind of amazing. So yeah, this can do utility cuts very well. There's not really a sharpening choil, but the way that the plunge grind is, it's back away from the edge termination. So that's really good for sharpening. You're not going to get a smile right there. The plunge grind is really, it's not like a slowly thickening slope up to the full thickness. It's more of like a 45-degree angle. That's not 45, but it's some kind of like straight angle. You have the flat surface of the bevel, and then boop, up, and then bam, flat. So it's not like gradually getting thicker. It's just, it gets thick right there, and that's it. So pretty cool. I'm pretty sure these bevels are machined. I don't think this is a ground bevel. It's too precise to be ground, but I don't know for sure. Oh yeah, there's one more nitpick I forgot to mention. The clip is really cool. I mean, look at it. It's very, very cool. There's like different surfaces, and it's milled really cool. However, if you're wearing thick seamed pockets, like on Carhartt work pants or some like Wrangler work pants, this is a little difficult to get in the pocket. You can see there's this open area. Here, let me get something to point with. There's this open area here, and then this side is what's contacting the surface of the micarta. So your pocket seam has to kind of come in at an angle almost in this way. If you angle it just right, sometimes you can get it. I can get it in my Carhartt work pants fine, but I need to use two hands. It's not like a one hand just boop. I kind of have to grab the pocket seam with one hand and like angle it in to get it to go in. If I'm wearing regular jeans, it's not a problem. It goes in easy. So for a lot of people, that won't be an issue. But if you want to use this for work and you wear work pants with thick seams, you're going to be kind of annoyed getting this into your pocket at times. So I guess I do have a few annoyances with the knife. I'm not sure if those annoyances are enough to get me to not like it. I'm still kind of, I've been carrying it pretty consistently for like 2 weeks now, and I don't see myself wanting to sell it yet, but we'll see. It could get to that point, but it's not right now. I still really like it. Let's talk about the hardware. So this was the first time that they've used this sort of hardware on the knife. The show side always has this little slot thing. I'm not sure what was on the other side in previous models, but this time they have this little triangle looking deal, and it's actually I believe it's an Allen key fits in there. It came with this tool, and it said that only the first release of the knife will come with the tool for free. I think it should come with come with the knife forever, but whatever. So this fits right in that triangle. It looks like a regular Allen key, I think. It fits right in that triangle, and then down here for the clip and the body, it's just a little bit smaller. So you would just need some kind of flathead to hold that side while you turn this side. Shirogorov has always had proprietary hardware. This makes it a little bit easier, I guess. You still have to have the tool, or I think a regular Allen key will probably work too. So you don't have to have their tool, which is nice. But it's not just a regular Torx. But it looks really cool. I mean, I'm kind of glad it wasn't a regular Torx, because I think this looks awesome. It just looks unique, unique and different. Now the action, as far as the detent, the opening detent, really good. The flipper tab has nice jimping right up here. It's kind of a low profile flipper tab, but I don't think I've slipped off it once, ever. It's really good. The detent's snappy. I don't think it's the snappiest detent ever, but I definitely can't fail it, not even close. It makes a really hearty clack when it opens. It's like a deep thwack. It's really cool. I really like flipping this knife. And that's the only deployment, so it has to be good, right? If you're going to have a flipper only, it's got to be a really good flipper. And it is. I think this absolutely is a very good flipper. Yeah, I really don't have any complaints. I think it could be, if the detent was any stronger, it might be annoying. I could see it possibly tearing up your finger if this was stronger. So I really don't think I would change it. I really don't think I would. I think it's perfect. It flips quick, reliably, and feels really satisfying to flip it open. Now the surface of the micarta actually has milling in it too, which is really neat. There were other versions of the knife, like there was a maroon micarta, a blue, a black, and then a green. This is the black. On the maroon one, you could see these lines really well. On this one, you can't see them as well. But as the micarta darkens, I'm starting to see them a little bit more pronounced. But you can see, it's like ribbed. There's like fluting going on here. Kind of gets large to small and then gets big again back here. And then this part of the knife has them going the other direction. I think it looks really cool. And look at this pocket that's milled out around the clip. I think that looks really neat. I especially like this lanyard area back here. Even though I'll probably never use it, it just looks cool. back here. Like all these little chamfers and little grooves cut out. Just really detailed stuff. Another really interesting detail is this right here. This little tiny, where it kind of steps up here at the very back of the knife. It's so subtle that you would never notice it just like in your hand. You would never notice it ergonomically. But it just barely steps up there at the very end. I think that's so interesting. Such a tiny little detail. They could have just made that just flat. Following this curve, just make it flat all the way back to this point. But they were like, nah, let's make it extra interesting. And add that little deal. Lock bar access is really good. LMAX blade steel. The LMAX did pretty good in the cut testing as far as edge retention. Pretty much what I would expect from any LMAX. It's dropped back really easily. Let's check the measurement behind the edge, and the blade stock thickness is 139 thousandths, and then behind the edge we are looking at, yeah, it's really thin. 12 thousandths. 12. It stays 12 all the way to the tip. That's probably why it's so good at utility cutting. So it's really thin behind the edge, but it's not that thin as far as like what the spine is doing. So it's not going to be fragile. I think that's pretty neat. What else? That's kind of it. Big long back spacer. I love how they added these inside chamfers on the inside of the liners here. Give your finger more room to kind of get at the flipper tab, and then once it disappears, kind of makes like a landing spot for your finger right here. Just a lot of cool details, man. So there you go. The Q95 Ursus. Oh, we didn't do weight. It's actually heavier than the frame lock version, which I thought it'd be lighter, right? It's by Carta, but these liners are so thick that it's actually a little heavier than the frame lock. 4.8 ounces, so it's not light, but it's big, you know? It doesn't feel like unwieldy heavy. I would definitely not call it too heavy. So there you go. I really like it. A couple nitpicks were kind of a chunky handle, kind of some rubbing noise, opening and closing, clip, hard to get in work pants, and was there another one? Clip, chunky handle. Sometimes I get hung up on this detent ramp. So like you disengage, it goes down, and then there's like this little ramp right here where you're kind of starting to go up, and then like if you let this flipper tab hit your thumb, disengage, let the flipper tab hit your thumb, you're still not going to be past that. So you kind of have to let it fall all the way here, which is why I have these little marks on my thumb from that blade kind of hitting my thumbnail and part of my thumb. If you're careful, you can kind of just do it this way and have it not touch. Or you can just do the flipper tab and then just shake past that that ramp. So it's not the worst of things. Sometimes it can be slightly annoying. Perfectly centered, rock solid, super rock solid. There you go. What do you guys think? I want another Shirogorov, and I want a frame lock one next. I forget which one it is exactly. I think it's one of the neon something or others. It's a little smaller, it's a frame lock, and it's got my name written all over it. So now that I've kind of experienced Shirogorov, I'm into it, man. I'm into their knives. They cut really, really well. They have great ergos, great flipping action. Yeah, I'm into it, man. Let me know what you guys think. Like the video too before you head out, please, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, dudes.